She lied about being sick. Said she was too ill to fly to my mom's funeral. I found out later she was in Miami, with the guy who used to bully me in high school. When I called, she said, I needed joy. Your grief was too much. I let her think I forgave her. But what she didn't know is that I still had access to. I'm Derek, 38, from Lexington, Kentucky. I'm not the kind of guy who usually shares stuff like this online. But what happened to me tore a hole in my life. And I've been carrying this weight too long. Last summer, my mom passed away from a stroke. Out of nowhere. She was at home, watching her game shows. Next thing I know, I'm getting a call from my uncle telling me she collapsed in the kitchen. Gone before the ambulance even got there. I was her only child. She raised me by herself. My dad split when I was 3 and never looked back. My mom was everything to me. Worked double shifts at Kroger for most of her life, just so I could go to college. I owe her everything. When she died, I was shattered. I don't say that lightly. I'm not good with crying in front of people, but I was on the floor that day, sobbing. Felt like my chest was getting ripped open. I couldn't breathe. My girlfriend, Ashley, was home when I got the call. She just stood there, frozen. No hug, no, it's gonna be okay. Not even a tissue. I remember looking up at her through my tears and seeing her arms crossed, like I was annoying her. I tried to explain through the sobs that the funeral would be in Bowling Green. My mom's from there. It's where her family plot is. Ashley said, I don't think I can make it. I'm not feeling well. Headaches and stuff. That was it. No, I'm sorry. No offer to help plan anything. I asked if she could try. She said maybe, but probably not. She looked tired when she said it, like my grief was an inconvenience. On the day of the funeral, I stood by the casket alone. My aunts and uncles showed up. A few cousins I hadn't seen in years, but not the person I thought would be standing right next to me. Ashley sent flowers. Cheap ones. She also sent a short text that said, wishing I could be there. Hope you're finding peace. Love you. I told myself she must have been really sick. I wanted to believe that. 3 days after the funeral, I got back to Lexington. Ashley wasn't home. I figured she might have gone to stay with a friend. Maybe needed space. I texted, where are you? She replied a couple hours later, with Trina in Atlanta. Needed a break. That hit weird. We never talked about her going anywhere. Just poof. Gone. I called her. She didn't pick up. Later that night, she finally answered. I asked what was going on. She said, I had to get away. Everything's been so heavy, Derek. I know you're hurting, but I can't carry all your grief too. I needed joy. I was starting to feel like I was drowning. I couldn't even process that. I just said, okay. Then she hung up, but something felt off. Trina is her closest friend. I knew her from a few get-togethers, so I called Trina directly. She answered on the second ring. Hey Derek, what's up? I said, hey, is Ashley still with you? She got quiet. Wait, she told you she's with me? Yeah. Derek, I haven't seen Ashley in like 3 weeks. I just sat there, silent. My heart started racing. After I hung up, I remembered something. We used to share an iCloud account back when we first moved in together, mostly for calendar stuff and syncing our grocery lists. She got a new phone last year, but we never fully disconnected that account. She probably forgot. I logged in. Right away, photos popped up. New ones. From that week. Ashley was in Miami, smiling, drinking, laying in a cabana at some 5-star hotel. And in the pictures with her, Rick Martinez. I almost threw my phone. Rick was my worst nightmare in high school. He bullied the hell out of me, slammed me into lockers, spread rumors I was gay, made animal noises at me in the hallway, even egged my house one Halloween. I tried to report him once. The school said, boys will be boys. My mom had to walk me to class for a month my sophomore year. Ashley knew all of that. I told her everything. She had her arms wrapped around him in one photo. Another showed them on a boat, both wearing sunglasses, smiling like they were in some rom-com. There was even a picture of her holding a cocktail with a caption that read, "This is what freedom feels like." I couldn't believe it. She missed my mom's funeral for this. Lied to my face, said she was sick, flew to Florida, and partied with a guy who used to torture me. I felt something die inside me that night. But I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I went deeper. Through the iCloud I still had access to her email, her Instagram drafts, her private Pinterest boards, Google Drive, the Notes app, where she saved random thoughts. I started digging. I found a Google Doc called Escape Plan. It was a step-by-step breakdown. Keep Derek stable, start applying to NYC PR jobs, use Rick's cousin for job connection, move out by December quietly, leave letter, not conversation. She was planning to leave me. Not talk to me. Just disappear. Then I opened a draft Instagram caption. Sometimes we have to break free from safe choices to live the life we deserve. That's how she saw me, a safe choice. One note just said, Rick brings the chaos I crave. Derek is comfortable. I need fire. I was shaking.
My mouth was dry.
I stared at that screen until 3 a.m., but I didn't message her. I didn't yell. I didn't warn her. I told her, "Thank you for giving me space. I love you. I'll be here when you're ready." She replied, "You're amazing. I miss you." I just needed a break from the sadness.
She thought I was weak,
That I'd keep waiting for her.
that she was smarter than me.
She didn't know I was already 5 steps ahead. For the next few weeks, I acted like nothing was wrong. Ashley came back home acting like she had just gone on a spiritual retreat or some healing journey. Gave me a soft hug, kissed my cheek like she was still my girlfriend. Said she was in a better headspace now. I nodded. Told her, "I'm just glad you're feeling better." Inside, I wanted to scream. She kept using words like healing and alignment and energy. But everything she said sounded fake. Her voice was higher. Her eyes avoided mine when she talked. I knew she was acting. She started cooking again, asking if I wanted to go for walks, pretending she wanted to reconnect. I watched her like a hawk. I smiled when she smiled. I said, "I love you" back when she said it first. I even let her plan a weekend trip for us to Asheville in October. The whole time, I kept digging. Every night, when she went to sleep, I logged into her email. I found messages between her and Rick. Some were flirty. Some were cruel. One said, "He still has no clue. It's actually kind of hilarious." Another, "I feel like I'm babysitting a grief zombie. But this'll be over soon." There was a thread where they joked about how boring I am in bed. How safe I was. How Rick woke her up. That one almost made me cry. But I didn't. I just saved everything. Screenshots. Emails. Voice memos she left for herself on notes. Then I made a folder. I called it insurance. I backed it all up in 3 places. Printed some of the worst stuff too, in case I needed hard copies. I wasn't sure yet what I'd do with it. But I knew this. When she left, it wouldn't be on her terms. She had a Zoom interview one day for a PR agency in New York. I knew because I saw the calendar invite in her Gmail. The one Rick's cousin helped set up. I listened from the hallway. She was sweet, funny, full of fake confidence. At the end, I heard her say, "I'll be relocating solo. Yes, single. No loose ends." That hit like a brick. She was telling strangers she was single while still sleeping in my bed. 2 nights later, I laid next to her, staring at the ceiling while she slept. I kept thinking about my mom. About how proud she used to be of me. About how disgusted she'd be if she saw me laying there, pretending everything was okay. So I made a decision. I started writing an email. It was long. Honest. I wrote about how Ashley had lied about being sick. About how she skipped my mom's funeral to hook up with my high school bully. I listed dates, times, flight confirmations, screenshots of her texts, and even transcribed some of her voice memos. I saved the email as a draft. Then I wrote 3 versions of it. One for her parents, who loved me and always said they were glad she found a man with values. One for her boss at her current firm, who just gave her a lead role on a high-profile campaign. and one for Rick's fiancée. Yeah, Rick had a fiancée. Her name's Natalie. Found her through Facebook after seeing a tagged photo in one of his old posts. They were planning to get married in December. I saw their registry. Saw photos of them wine tasting in Napa. Rick was juggling both women. The only difference was Natalie didn't know. Ashley did. She mentioned Natalie in one of her notes. He says he's leaving her soon. Probably a lie, but I'm having too much fun to care.
That sealed it for me.
These two weren't just selfish. They were cruel. They laughed at people they hurt. They enjoyed it. So, I started my real plan. I called up an old friend, Megan, who works in HR at a rival PR agency in Chicago. I asked if she'd be willing to check references if someone from Ashley's target firm called. Megan said, "Say less." I printed out Ashley's escape plan and left it in a drawer she used all the time, just to mess with her head. I started scheduling fake calendar invites labeled couples therapy and grief counseling to see if she'd ask me about them. She didn't. She just ignored them, like always. But the best part? I waited until she landed her final round interview in NYC. She bought the flight. She packed a bag. She kissed me on the cheek that morning and said, "Wish me luck, babe." I said, "You've got this. I'm proud of you." As soon as the Uber pulled away, I opened the drafts. And I hit send. To her parents. To her boss. To Natalie. Every receipt. Every lie. Every photo. Sent. The last message I sent that day was to Ashley herself. I scheduled it to send while she was mid-flight. Hope the skies are clear. By the time you land, everything you've built will be ash. Say hi to Rick for me. I thought she'd call the second her plane touched down. She didn't. She texted instead. Just one word. What
The
hell? I waited. Let her stew. 10 minutes later, another message. "Why would you do this to me?" Then, "You ruined everything. You're sick. This is harassment." I didn't respond. She tried calling. 4 times. I let them ring out. When I finally picked up, her voice was shaking. "You sent it all, didn't you?" she snapped. "You mean the truth?" I said, calmly. "Derek, do you know what you just did?" "My parents, my job." Natalie showed up at Rick's office crying. "I know," I said. "I planned it that way." She was silent for a beat. "You're a monster."
No, Ashley.
I just stopped pretending. She hung up. I sat there, alone in our apartment, feeling calm. Like a heavy jacket finally slid off my shoulders. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. But it didn't stop there. 2 days later, I got a call from Megan, my friend in HR. "Hey," she said, trying not to laugh. "So, Ashley applied here too." "You're kidding." "Nope." They asked for a reference. I told them, "Everything you sent me." Guess what? Her resume also had some creative timelines. Turns out Ashley had lied on a few job applications. Said she led campaigns she didn't. Claimed promotions she never got. Megan passed that along to some industry contacts. Word spreads fast in PR. By the end of the week, Ashley was blacklisted from 2 major firms. Then Rick's fiancée, Natalie, called me. I almost didn't answer, but something told me I should. Her voice was soft.
Shaky.
"I just wanted to say thank you," she said. "For what?" "For not letting me marry a liar." I had no idea. I thought Rick was. He always told me you were some weird ex that was obsessed with Ashley. I laughed bitterly. "Figures." "I canceled the wedding," she said. "And I booked a solo trip to Colorado instead. I needed a break from all this. Just thank you." After that, I thought maybe it was over. But then Ashley came back. She showed up at our apartment unannounced. I was making dinner, pasta, I remember. She banged on the door like she was the one who'd been wronged. I opened it, and there she was crying.
No makeup.
Hair messy. Looked like she hadn't slept. "You destroyed my life," she said. "No," I said. "You did that." I just showed everyone the blueprint. She pushed past me and walked inside. "I lost my job, Derek. My parents think I'm disgusting. Rick won't even return my texts. You humiliated me. You humiliated yourself. You think you're some noble man now, she spat. You think revenge makes you better than me? No, I said. But it makes me done with you. She looked around the apartment. Her eyes landed on the couch we used to watch movies on the table where she used to leave coffee stains, on the fridge covered in old magnets from road trips. I don't have anywhere to go, she said quietly. That's not my problem anymore.
She stared at me.
For a second, I saw something real, fear maybe. But I didn't care. She had months to choose a different path. She chose betrayal. I owed her nothing now. I grabbed her suitcase from the closet. Yes, I had already packed it, and set it by the door. She didn't say another word. She left. But it wasn't over. 2 weeks later, I got served. She filed a harassment complaint. Said I accessed her accounts without permission. Said I weaponized private data. Claimed emotional damages and reputational sabotage. That's when I realized Ashley wasn't just cruel. She was dangerous. But I was ready. Because she forgot something. The iCloud wasn't just for emails and photos. It had location history, logged devices, app permissions. I had proof she knew I still had access. She never changed passwords, never turned off sharing, never revoked device access. My lawyer, a quiet guy named Steve who worked out of a strip mall office, ate it up. He built a timeline, lined up every receipt, put together a countersuit. Turns out what Ashley didn't realize was she committed fraud on multiple job applications, lied to employers, used fake recommendations, and on one, forged a signature from a past boss. We had emails, text confirmations, and job platform logs. When her lawyer saw all that, they tried to settle. But I wasn't interested in silence. I wanted truth. Out loud. We went to court. Ashley sat across from me, wearing a gray suit that was too big in the shoulders. Her face was pale. She didn't look like the same woman who used to laugh at crime shows in my lap. She looked tired.
Cornered. Fake.
Her lawyer tried everything. They claimed I hacked her accounts, that I was controlling, that I tormented her after a mutual separation. He even tried to paint me as emotionally unstable after my mom's death. But then Steve, my lawyer, stood up and opened with one thing, an audio recording. It was from her iCloud voice memos. She didn't know it was synced. It played her voice, laughing with Rick on a Miami balcony. She said, "It's not cheating if I already made up my mind. He's too soft to leave me. Let him cry over his dead mom." The room went still. Even the judge looked stunned. Ashley's face went red. Her lawyer asked to pause the hearing.
Denied.
Steve laid it all out. The emails, the timelines, the forged resumes, the access logs showing she knew I had access to her iCloud, and the multiple messages where she encouraged me to manage her calendar. Then he played a second clip. Ashley, recording herself venting about Rick. He says he's leaving his fiancée, but who knows? I'll use him until I get what I want. By the time Steve finished, there was no case left to argue. Her harassment claim?
Dismissed.
Her emotional distress claim?
Dismissed.
But then it flipped. Because I countersued for defamation, fraud, and damages, emotional and financial. And I won. Not only that, Rick's fiancée, Natalie, ended up filing a separate civil suit against both of them. She had money. Her dad was a lawyer. She came at them hard. Ashley had to sell her car and move in with a cousin in Indiana to pay the legal fees. The PR industry blacklisted her for resume fraud and NDA violations. Megan made sure of that. Rick lost his job too. Natalie had sent the same package of screenshots to his employer. Turns out Rick worked with minors in an after-school sports program. His past came up during the HR investigation. They fired him immediately. Last I heard, he was bartending in Tampa. No fiancé. No job in PR. No Miami life. As for Ashley, she tried to rebuild. She started a new Instagram under a fake name. Claimed she was healing from abuse. Painted herself as a survivor.
But it didn't last.
Too many people knew the truth. Her parents stopped speaking to her. She reached out to me once, just one last email. It said, "Was it worth it? Burning everything down?"
I didn't reply. Because yes, it was.
I didn't want to ruin her life when I started. I just wanted her to feel the pain she made me sit with. But once I saw how far she was willing to go to lie, to manipulate, to tear down anyone who trusted her, I stopped feeling guilty. You don't get to walk away from that clean. You don't get to skip my mother's funeral to party with a man who made my teenage years hell. You don't get to mock my grief and then sue me because you got caught. She thought I was soft. She thought I was dumb. She thought she could cheat, lie, and disappear without consequences. She was wrong. Because I may not be flashy. I may not have a six-pack or charm or whatever she wanted. But I remember. I pay attention. And when you cross me, I don't yell. I prepare.